2024 WIDU anniversary. Finally, it's this Friday, 6 p.m. at the Crown Coliseum. Tickets at the box office, WIDUanniversary.com, the Crown box office, WIDU Studios, and regular WIDU ticket outlets. Call 910-483-6111.
Welcome to Cape Fear Valley's Making Rounds Live, broadcasting and streaming live from the WIDU Community Room.
The WIDU Radio Network, WAGR in Lumberton, WIDU in Red Springs, WEWO in Laurinburg.
Making Rounds Live on 99.7 FM, 1600 AM.
We air every second and fourth Tuesday of the month.
Making Rounds Live.
The purpose of this show is to bring you information on health and wellness.
Here's the host of Making Rounds Live, Omega Jones.
And thank you so much, Ray. Welcome to another edition of Cape Fear Valley Health's Making Rounds Live. I'm your host, Omega Jones. Today, our guests are from Fayetteville Urban Ministry. And for those of you that don't know what Fayetteville Urban Ministry is, it is a local nonprofit organization here in Fayetteville that has been serving our community for 50 years now. We'll let that marinate a little bit. For 50 years now. Their mission is to show God's compassion for our neighbors in need and thus build our community together. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on Making Rounds Live this morning, we have the Community Outreach Coordinator, Miss Michaela Burrero, and we also have the Emergency Assistance Coordinator, Miss Haley Green, with us today. Now, before we get started, some of the subjects that we may talk about today, some of the issues that we may talk about today, if you find yourself or anyone that you know that may be suffering from something that we may discuss today, what I want you to do is contact a professional. This is not a time for you to self-diagnose. So if you find yourself or family member or something like that, you may say, this is me in this broadcast. Instead of taking matters into your own hands, like I said, find yourself a healthcare professional. Now, many social and environmental factors, they affect a person's health. They affect their livelihood. Things like shelter, having food, having heat in the winter, and being cool in the summer. Well, in 1974, Hayes Street Methodist Church organized Fayetteville Urban Ministry, and they did this, to provide emergency assistance for people in need, for food, clothing, and other resources. Then in 1980, the organization became an interfaith agency, and they have continued to grow from there. And as well as offering things like emergency assistance, they also have adult literacy. They have education programs, the Find a Friend after school program for youth, the Nehemiah Project for emergency home repairs for low-income homeowners. These are some of the things that Fayetteville Urban Ministry does. So this is where I need to bring in today's guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Michaela Burrero and Miss Haley Green. They are from Fayetteville Urban Ministry. Ladies, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Now, before we get started, Ms. Burrero, let's start with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you briefly run through the list of programs that Fayetteville Urban Ministry offers to the community? And can you tell us how they help people, I guess, in terms of physical health?
Yes, ma'am. So we do have 4 programs. We have our Adult Literacy and Education Center, our Emergency Assistance Program, our Nehemiah Home Repair Project, and then our Find a Friend Youth Enrichment Center. So all 4 programs serve Cumberland County with the exception of Nehemiah. Nehemiah serves just the Fayetteville city limits, which we'll get into that in a little bit. Mm-hmm. But with emergency assistance helping in the food pantry and the clothing closet, that helps the physical health of those individuals in need by giving them the food, the nutrition they need to keep them healthy. And then when we go to the Adult Literacy and Education Center with our tutors that merge with our students in need, helping them learn to read helps them in the long run for everything, even if it's reading their prescriptions, their medical information, again, focusing on that physical health. The Nehemiah project, when they go in and they do the home repairs, it automatically fixes those hazards to keep you healthy, to reduce the risk of injuries. And then with our Find a Friend Youth Enrichment Center, that keeps our kids active, prompts them to get out there, stay healthy, and move along outside playing to promote their physical health as well.
Ms. Green, I'm going to bring you in and talk about mental health. How do you see these programs that the organization provides? How do you see those programs providing the community's mental health?
Yeah, so as you could tell, we don't do anything directly towards mental health. However, all of our programs support basic needs for humans, our neighbors in need, as we say. So when people have their basic needs met, their mental health is obviously going to be better. When your stomach is full, you're not having to worry or have the anxiety about where your next meal is going to be coming from. When your rent is paid, when your house is fixed, you don't have those things that are generally, hard on your mind, on the mental capacity that you're having to worry about, or things of that nature. So whenever we meet those basic needs, we may just be putting food on somebody's table, but that allows them to not have to worry about, again, where their next meal is coming from. They can take that money that they didn't have to spend on food to put towards their education, different things of that nature.
Now, this question just came to mind. The services that were just mentioned, are these services and resources only for Cumberland County residents?
Generally. So through our food program, we do have certain resources through the main food bank, Second Harvest, that allows us to service some of the food that we have to anybody who approaches our building. But generally, the services that we provide are for Cumberland County residents. Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Fayetteville Urban Ministry, we have the Community Outreach Coordinator, Ms. Michaela Burrero, and we also have the Emergency Assistance Coordinator, Ms. Haley Green, with us today on Cape Fear Valley's Making Rounds Live. Now, you mentioned rent. So what if people are living in a rental home? Can they get assistance, or can they ask the landlord themselves to apply for assistance?
Yeah, absolutely. So our goal is to service low-income families and homeless families in our community. So even if they are renting, as long as they have something showing that they're renting the property, the address that they're at, they are able to come get food and clothes, any kind of education. Their kids are allowed to sign up for our Find a Friend program. However, for the Nehemiah program, you have to own your home. So again, if you're living in the home, if you own it, you can receive services. However, outside of that, just based off the grants that we get with us being nonprofit, that program you actually have to own the home. But through the other programs, if you rent, you are able to get assistance with us.
Now, with the Nehemiah project, you said that you have to own the home. Do you have to income restrictions? Are the income restrictions applied to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to make sure that we're servicing people who really don't have the funding to be able to fix a $10,000 roof repair, $5,000 floor repair, things of that nature. So we want to make sure that we're helping those neighbors who are truly in need.
All right. The reason why I asked that is I know some widows in the area who need home repairs. And so that's what I was getting ready to say. I know y'all are watching. Contact Fayetteville Urban Ministry.
That's right.
All right. Now, Ms. Green, the Emergency Assistance Program, what is included in that? And how does it work?
So in our emergency assistance program, we have a food bank and a clothing closet. Clients are able to come in. They do have to show proof of address or lack thereof. If they are our homeless clients, they just need a referral from somewhere like the Day Resource Center, Operation Inasmuch, those organizations that help out primarily with just homeless clients. And once they bring that documentation in, they're allowed to sign up the same day. They will visit our clothing closet and food pantry the same day. Oftentimes we have people that may not come up with their documents. We never send anybody away without something in their hand. If it's clothes that they were needing that day, if it's food that they were needing, we'll give them a little something until they can bring those documents back. And then we also help out with financial assistance when we have it available. Due to us being nonprofit, we work with grants and different things of that nature. Of course, the grantors tell us how exactly we can spend that money. So sometimes we're able to help out with rental assistance. Sometimes we're able to help out with utility assistance. We've been known to be able to help out with hotel stays on certain occasions, just depending on how our grants allow us to spend that money. And we try to make it go as far as we can make that money go.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the studio, Miss Michaela Buero and Miss Haley Green. They are both from Fayetteville Urban Ministry, talking to us today about the different resources that the agency has available, how it helps the community. And in case you didn't know, Fayetteville Urban Ministry has been around for 50 years. Now, let's talk about the programs and how you see the programs being needed in the community. When people come into Fayetteville Urban Ministry, how needed, how vital are these programs to the community?
Yeah, so we see upwards of 60 new clients every month. Since July, I looked at my numbers this morning, we've had over 100 new clients every month since July. So you can tell the need is definitely there for even just the basic needs. I know a lot of people are always calling in for financial assistance. Obviously, that's a need out in our community, just the way inflation and different things like that happen. But just even down to the basic needs of food and clothing, those people are coming in to sign up for just those small things that a lot of people think, take for granted, just having clothes to put on your back, just having a little snack just to put in your stomach that time. So the need is very great. We service over 600 individuals consistently every month within the households that we serve. So the need is definitely there, especially around the holiday season as we're getting into.
Now, this is a question that I really don't want to ask, but I guess I need to ask it anyway so people will know. Do you ever have to turn people away?
We don't ever turn anybody away. I've actually been working with Urban Ministry for going on 7 years now, going on 8. And, we feel that if somebody's coming to us for those basic needs, it's obviously something they need. So they may pull up in a Rolls Royce in the parking lot, but if they come in saying they need a shirt to put on their back, we're going to make sure that they get a shirt to put on their back. We post no judgment on anybody, and we try to help everybody that we can because we have such a good community that helps us be able to provide.
Yeah, and our boss is really big on not letting anyone leave empty-handed. Like Ms. Haley just said, whether it's a snack pack of food, a shirt for your back, or a list of resources for your area, your county, everyone gets something as they walk out. So no one leaves empty-handed.
Awesome. Well, your boss is Mr. Johnny, Lord, I forgot his name just that quick.
Johnny Wilson.
Johnny Wilson. Excuse me, Johnny. But anyway, and if you all know Mr. Wilson, he's always in the community doing amazing things representing Fayetteville Urban Ministry. So if he said that, you can take that to the bank. Yeah. Now, ladies, are there some? Well, no. We're heading into the winter months. It's getting cooler. With the cold weather coming up, with it getting cooler, with the holidays coming up, how does the need and activity change for Fayetteville Urban Ministry? And I guess either one of you can take that question, really.
Yeah, I'll jump in first.
Okay, cool.
So definitely in my department, the need gets greater. Obviously around the holidays, things can become hardships on people a lot more with dealing with, maybe throughout the year, they were just having to deal with being able to pay their rent. They've been able to make that on time, but now, it's coming up to where they're having to buy, stuff for their kids. They're going to be out of school for a certain amount of time, and usually that's when you need more food in your house because they're going to be eating it up. So we do see a big increase, especially during the holiday season. We try to vamp up our services during that holiday season because we know the need is going to be greater, and just try to greet as many people that come through our doors and that need it.
Yeah, I think the holidays really brings out the village in our community. We have a village 365 days a year, but once we near the holidays, I'd say once October starts, we really get the phone calls, the messages, the people coming in who need the help for holiday food boxes, Christmas toy shopping, which shout out to emergency assistance. Ms. Haley won't get this humble brag to their department, but they signed up 76 families yesterday. Yesterday was the start of our Thanksgiving meal box sign up.
76 families.
In about 3.5 hours. So that just goes to show there's a great need in the area for help with everything, but food is a huge thing. So we honor the term hangry. We don't want anyone to be hangry. So yeah, and we'll go into signups a little bit later because I want to share that with you guys. But yeah, holidays
Definitely.
are busy. There's a great need, and we're really happy to be able to provide. Thanks to everybody in the community.
Well, actually, that leads into the next question, but they've
Okay,
told me
great.
I've got to take a this thing called a commercial break.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when we return, we will continue our conversation with these amazing ladies from Fayetteville Urban Ministry. And the next question, a lot of you have donations. We'll get into that. Cape Fear Valley Health's Making Rounds Live. Make sure you stay close.
We'll be right back with more of Making Rounds Live.
Cape Fear Valley's Making Rounds Live.
Broadcasting and streaming live from the WIDU Community Room on 99.7 FM, 1600 AM.
The WIDU Radio Network.
Former President Trump toured the damage after Hurricane Helene in Swannanoa, viewing the destruction near Asheville. Mr. Trump criticized the federal response. FEMA Administrator D.N. Criswell, who is also in Asheville, countered Trump's narrative. More than 1 million voters in North Carolina have cast their ballots during the state's early voting period. With 2 weeks until Election Day, millions of Americans aren't confident about election security. Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa says that he's ready to play again after his latest concussion injury. He spoke out yesterday for the first time after spending a month on the sidelines. Fire crews in Dallas, Texas are battling what remains of a massive pallet fire near Love Field Airport. At least 6 commercial buildings and a transfer station sustained damage. Mike Rayleigh, NCI News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. On October 20th, employees from the City of Fayetteville's Street Maintenance and Solid Waste Division deployed to Hendersonville to help with debris removal from the impact of Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina. There will be 2 deployments. A total of 16 employees will participate and help with the removal effort, with 11 people in the initial group. 6 staff members will remain for the entire deployment, while 5 will be relieved on October 26th by the remaining team. Debris removal is one of the biggest challenges that communities face in the aftermath of any natural disaster. Calling all youth, the charity softball game is back with a kids' Halloween costume contest for children under age 15. Enjoy free game admission for kids under 15 at Segra Stadium on October 25th at 5 p.m. as Fayetteville Police and Fire Departments face off. Stick around for a free movie night featuring Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Starting out this morning with a chill in the air, temperatures in the mid to upper 40s first thing, but like the past few days, temperatures rise quickly. This afternoon, mostly sunny, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Overnight, maybe a little bit of a breeze, still cool. Temperatures bottoming out in the upper 40s and lower 50s. And by Wednesday afternoon, warmer, highs upper 70s to near 80, with breezy winds later in the day. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the Weather Center.
Bryan Honda presents the 2024 WIDU Anniversary Celebration this Friday, October 25th, 6 p.m. at the Crown Coliseum. Live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, it's John P. Key. Yes, John P. Key. Also featuring Leandria Johnson, Tim Rogers, McKenzie, the McDonald Sisters, and the Mickens. It's the 2024 WIDU Anniversary. Finally, It's this Friday, 6 p.m. at the Crown Coliseum. Tickets in the box office, WIDUanniversary.com, the Crown box office, WIDU studios, and regular WIDU ticket outlets. Call 910-483-6111.
The day, Thursday. The time, 10 a.m. The show, Election Central 2024. Election Central 2024. It's a weekly news program. Pass it on to your friends that gives you news you can use from people you can trust. Election Central 2024. It's mesmerizing, thought-provoking, invigorating. It'll make you say, Yes, sir, you got that right. WIDU cares about our community. Pass it on to your friends and don't miss it right here on WIDU, your station for inspiration and information, 99.7 FM and 1600 AM.
Kamala Harris is pushing taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners. She admitted it.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Just listen to what Charlemagne the God had to say.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners. Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala's pushing her far-left agenda in our community. While we're struggling to pay our bills, Kamala's giving free health care and free housing to illegals. They're getting our jobs, and they're bringing crime and drugs to our neighborhoods. And what do we get? Nothing but empty promises that lead to empty wallets. Kamala's giving welfare to illegals and paying for sex changes for inmates. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for us.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President 2024, Inc.
We now return to Making Rounds Live.
Cape Fear Valley's Making Rounds Live.
Broadcasting and streaming live on the WIDU network, 99.7 FM, 1600 AM. Here's Omega Jones.
Thank you so much, Ray. Welcome back to the second segment of Cape Fear Valley Health's Making Rounds Live. In the studio today, we are talking to ladies from Fayetteville Urban Ministry. We are talking about the resources that are available. We're talking about the agency itself. And during the commercial break, we actually started talking about donations, and this is actually where the next question was coming in. So, Ms. Borrero, Ms. Green, do you see an uptick in donations to match, I guess, the increase, the need for people? How can people help your organization? Because I know I was saying in between the commercial break that after Darvin passed, I took a lot of his clothes, his clothes that he would work in, his shirts, his ties, his slacks, his shoes, to Fayetteville Urban Ministry. So how can people help your organization if they want to donate or if they want to volunteer?
Yeah. So donations, we generally take those on Mondays and Fridays if we can keep it to those days. However, if you absolutely can only come on a Wednesday, we'll take it then too, because that's what we're there to do. But we generally take clothing and food donations on Mondays and Fridays so that we have the ability to go through those things, get them out. We, of course, want to make sure that the clothes that we're putting out on the floor for our clients to get are something that they are able to put right on if they need to do that. They can donate clothes, food, household items. We do take small household items such as microwaves, toasters, different things of that nature, linen, things like that. We don't take larger furniture just because we don't have the space to hold that. Prayerfully in the future, we could do something of that nature. But yeah, anything that would be able to set somebody up for success in a new home or anything like that, we will take it in because we know that we can give it out to some folks. And I'll let Michaela take over volunteer.
Oh, yeah. So we always need volunteers. So we accept volunteers Monday through Friday. There's an application online if you visit our website. We are www.fayerbmen.org. There is a volunteer application on there you can fill out. We'd love to have you guys. It does require the application, a background check, and an ID. But especially with the holidays coming up, we also do one event on the weekends. Once a month. On a weekend service Saturday is what we call it. We just had our last one this past Saturday, and our next one is going to be November 23rd. That'll be a fun one. That's the day that we get together with the community to pack the meal boxes for Thanksgiving. So Saturday, November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can volunteer with us to pack these mailboxes that we'll be giving out the following week. So, but we're always in need of volunteers.
Okay. Now, during the break, when we were talking about the donation of clothes, I asked about laundering. Do the clothes, the clothes donations, do they need to be washed? Do they need to be cleaned? How do you accept those?
Yep, so we would absolutely prefer that they are laundered when they come. However, we do post and make sure that people know that we don't directly launder them ourselves just because we don't have that capability, so that the clients know what they're getting when they get it from us. But yes, laundered clothes are always the best.
Now, and also I mentioned things like underwear and socks. I know some people want to donate them, some people don't. Some people would just prefer to go out and buy new ones to give to the different organizations. What is the status as far as underwear, things like underwear and socks?
Right. So we definitely prefer new stuff. Nobody really wants to use used underwear. However, if things are in good condition, we try to hold them back on occasions where we may not have new underwear to give folks, just in case the need is there. As I mentioned before during the break, we've had people who are homeless who have come in after the night that it rains or the day that it's raining, and their clothes may be soaked and they just need a new change of clothes. Obviously, underwear is going to have to go with that, and if we don't have any new available, we will have the backups, that we will keep in the back in case that need is there, but preferably we try to put as much new underclothes out as possible.
Let's talk about the need for literacy. Can you tell us more about your literacy program, how it works, what are some of the program's needs that the community may be able to help you with?
Yeah, so our Adult Literacy Center, that's where I started at Fayetteville Urban Ministry, job-wise. We do anything from English as a second language, basic education, GED prep, citizenship studying. We actually had a young lady recently who was able to gain her citizenship, and because of that, she was able to visit back home because she would, then be able to come back and do what she needed to do here. So that was really cool. Our adult literacy program sees a lot of clients. We have some really awesome volunteers, but we're always looking for new tutors for our adult literacy program. That's one way that you can volunteer with them, is becoming a tutor. We have some retired teachers that are in there doing the tutoring, but you don't necessarily have to have been a teacher. They'll put you through a tutor training, which will show you exactly how to teach an adult learner, because that's much different than teaching a child when their brains are more malleable and stuff. So they'll teach you how to work with those adult learners and match you up with whatever it is that you have a passion for, whether that's math, reading, comprehension, different things of that nature. As Michaela mentioned earlier, we have some older folks that are just coming in to better their education so that they can know how to read their prescriptions, how to fill out forms when they're at different places for eye care, health care, different things of that nature. So just being able to come in, whatever your need is, they will try their best to match you up with somebody who is within that field. Also, they do independent learning, so they have different programs on the computer that you can start doing before they actually get you matched up with a tutor. So.
All right, Michaela, I'm going to bring you back in on this question.
Okay.
We talked about the volunteers earlier as far as if someone wants to volunteer for Fayetteville Urban Ministry, but someone may have just joined us and they may have missed that. So how would a person be able to volunteer for Fayetteville Urban Ministry?
So for Fayetteville Urban Ministry to volunteer, you can go online to our website. Our volunteer application is online. You can download that, email it back. All the information where you'd send it to is on our website. Our website is fayerbmen.org. You can come in person. We can hand you the application. You can fill it out on campus. And those are the two of the quickest ways. You can email it through our website or just come in person, fill it out, and we'll get you started.
And you definitely need volunteers now because Thanksgiving holidays are coming up and that type of thing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, from Fayetteville Urban Ministry, we have Miss Michaela Barrero, and we have the Emergency Assistance Coordinator, Miss Haley Green, with us today. Miss Barrero, I'm going to bring you back in.
Okay.
Does Fayetteville Urban Ministry work with other local groups and organizations? Do you guys collaborate or partner with any other organizations?
Yes, ma'am. I would say it's fair to say that we work with a lot of people in the community, other organizations. Probably too many to name just because I don't want to leave anyone out. But the community is kind of all a village for each other. So if there is something we can't assist with, we always have the resource list on hand. And I think Haley, not to bring her back into all the questions, sorry. I think Haley, she's so good at this. I think Haley probably sees that a lot too with emergency assistance when they come in for utility or rental assistance. Since funding is limited, and when we get it, it goes pretty quick because there is such a big need for it in the community. So absolutely, we partner with other organizations in the area. Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the studio, our guests today from Fayetteville Urban Ministry, Miss Michaela Borrero and Miss Haley Green. If you want to get involved in this conversation, you can. What you can do is you can give us a call at WIDU at 910-483-6111. Again, 910-483-6111. Or if you're following the live stream on Facebook, what you can do is leave the questions in the comment section. Ms. Lindsey Graham's working hard behind the scenes, and she will get those questions. She will either answer those questions for you, or we will get those questions answered while we have our experts in the studio today. And once again, I want you to share the broadcast. Let folks know what we're doing here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I do know we have viewers in Florida. We have viewers out west. Thank you so much for your support. And let folks see what we're doing, because this is vital information. And it's vital information that you really don't want to be that middle person trying to give them the information. So if you share the broadcast, they can just sit down and get all the information for themselves. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, in the studio, our guest today from Fayetteville Urban Ministry. Now, ladies, what happens if a person or a family needs some sort of help that your group cannot provide? What happens then?
So as Michaela mentioned before, we have a resource pamphlet on campus. Generally with the services that we offer, we try to be a wraparound service where people don't have to go to so many organizations. They can come directly to us and kind of get what they need. However, there are instances where we just don't have the ability to help that client. Again, we try to send them away with something in their hand, as well as a resource to somebody who we know or may know of somebody who might have that resource available. There's not often times that we can't help, as Michaela said, unless we just don't have funding, but we know other organizations that we work with in the community that provide those resources, and if they may have funding, we'll send those clients their way too.
How has the agency adapted since COVID?
I would say we were able to maintain through 2020. We were able to service a little bit more just because the need was greater. We've tried to kind of round back and get out of the go back to our pre-COVID policies and procedures, which hasn't been too bad. People have been pretty receptive to it, but I think we fared the weather pretty well through COVID. We never had to shut down. We did make it where employees came in on opposite days so that we didn't have too many people in the building at one time with those different stipulations that they had on gatherings. But we never shut down. We never had a lack of resources when it came to our food bank and our clothing closet. People just being there for whatever the resources that they were coming in for. We weren't able to see our kids as much, but we were able to get with them via electronically Zoom, different things of that nature, so that we were able to still reach out to those kids that we had in our Find a Friend program. We were able to connect tutors and students via Zoom on different occasions so that they could continue to do those things. So I think we weathered that storm pretty well and came out of it pretty well for the most part. Like I said, we've never had a lack for anything, even through COVID, so that was really awesome.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, from Fayetteville Urban Ministry, and our guest today on Cape Fear Valley Health's Making Rounds Live, the Community Outreach Coordinator, Miss Michaela, and we have the Emergency Assistance Coordinator, Miss Haley Green, with us today on Making Rounds Live. Now, I've been watching you ladies during this whole interview, and you have had this smile on your face. You have had this peace on your face. This light has been beaming out of y'all this whole broadcast. So how long have the two of you been with Cape Fear Valley Health? How long have the two of you been with Fayetteville Urban Ministry?
So like I said, October 11th, I just celebrated my 7-year anniversary. I actually started in our Find a Friend program as an intern, working with the kids. At the time, the adult literacy manager position became open. So they wanted, I guess I did a good job. They wanted to hire me on. At the time, I was also working at Food Lion. So then the position for assistant coordinator of the emergency assistance department became open. And with my knowledge of food safety and different things like that, they thought it would be a good move for me. So I moved there. Shortly after that, the coordinator left and I became the coordinator. So I've worked in all of our departments except Nehemiah, but I try to stick my toe in there sometimes a little bit just to kind of see what they're doing, what they're all about, and making sure I'm up to date so that I can, give information to the community about what they do. Like you said, we're in here glowing because we love what we do. I love talking about the things that we're able to help people with. And then Michaela has come in shortly after me here.
Oh, shortly after. I came in 2.5 years ago, so I still feel like I'm very new. There's just so much to learn. Even talking about COVID, I came in March of 2022, so I had plenty of questions about COVID. Just because of the organization I was working for beforehand, we operated so differently. It was a totally different job, but and I came across Fayetteville Urban Ministry through my last job at Paul Mitchell, the school. We did fundraising every year, and our admissions leader, Miss Hannah Lucas, she got to choose or have a big say in where the funds went. So she had done some research, sought out Fayetteville Urban Ministry, and we met Mr. Johnny Wilson along the way. And she left to come to Fayetteville Urban Ministry in October of 2021, and I followed behind her in March of 2022. We were just sharing the goodness. So it's been a lot of fun for 2.5 years. I learned something new every day, and it's a very humbling job to get to come in to do Monday through Friday. Sometimes it's heavy, you wear it home, but at the end of the day, you're always really blessed because you're the one helping. And again, if we can't physically help and meet that need, you're not going empty-handed, which I think is important. I myself don't like to go somewhere and kind of get the roundabout, so we don't like to do that to other people. It's very fulfilling.
Awesome. Are there any plans that you ladies want to talk about for Fayetteville Urban Ministry?
Plans, I would say, I know there had been talk at one point about potentially expanding. Of course, that takes money, but that is something that we look forward to do in the future, whether that's a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Anything that we can do better ourselves to better help the community, we're always going to strive for. Me personally, I have a plan to modify our clothing closet to make it more accessible for different people. We have people with disabilities that come in that are in wheelchairs, so we want to make sure that it's accessible for everybody that comes in. And like I said, just expanding our departments as fast as we can with what we're given. Of course, with us being a nonprofit, that is something that we really rely on our community to help us do our city, our government, and things of that nature. So just keeping expanding our services and what we do. With this being our 50th year, we have a gala coming up on November 2nd. So we're asking people to purchase tickets, come out, help us celebrate our 50 years in this community. And that funding is going to go right back into what we do. So it allows us to keep putting smiles on other people's faces.
That's great. I love it. Now, also, during the commercial break, we were talking about men's clothes. You said that Fayetteville Urban Ministry always has a need for men's clothing?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to get that out there, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Miss Michaela?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have you have anything that you want to talk about as far as plans go?
Yeah, I think just having talked with Mr. Johnny and Miss Patricia about some ideas and plans that we have, I think the goal going into the next few years is obviously to serve more clients at a even better capacity than we are now. I know that we're looking to get our I want to call it our driveway, like it's my house, our parking lot repaved, look at getting our roofs redone, just make sure we're all good there. So those are two of the big things. Some flooring redone in our building, the beautification of it. And honestly, just for safety reasons, of course, the parking lot, the roof, and the flooring is really important. We joke a lot about the Nehemiah project helping us, but so those are some things we'd like to revamp going into our 50th and 51st year. But yeah, I would just say the 4 programs just growing and building, and we have really great staff. We do have some new staff members over at our Find a Friend Youth Enrichment Center, and I think that they have just came in and taken it by storm. So I'm excited to see what they do with our youth. I'd say I'm looking forward to all the departments, but that's the one I'm really kind of focused on in my head and heart, seeing where that goes. So.
Awesome. Well, before we close out today's broadcast, is there anything the two of you would like to add about the programs or about the community involvement or anything that we may not have discussed?
Yeah, I just want to plug in a few things. I brought some notes.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I mentioned earlier that our Thanksgiving mailbox sign up started yesterday, October 21st. It's supposed to run through November 21st. Spots are limited, so I don't foresee it lasting that long, which is a good thing because we want to fill the spots up and feed as many people as we can. Numbers are limited, of course. So October 21st to tentatively November 21st. Each week of those of that time frame, it's Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 12:30. You have to sign up in person on campus. And then the pickup date will be November 26th from 11 to 3. We'll give you a ticket. We'll explain all that once you're on campus. Now, at the same time, we're doing holiday toy shopping. So that started yesterday as well, and that will run through November 21st as long as spots are available. Again, that's limited too. Sign-ups are the same exact thing, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 12:30. That one's a little different about what you'll need to bring, and I can give you this paper, Miss Lindsay, for the website, but for that you would need to bring your ID along with proof of residency in Cumberland County. That can be an ID or a utility bill that has your name on it. And then for each child that you're signing up, you would need to present a birth certificate or proof of guardianship, and they'll give you shopping dates and times and all that too. So I know that's a lot of information. That information is on our social media, and it will be uploaded to our website, and so everything is merged together. And then our gala that Miss Haley was talking about. Since we've been sitting here, I'm having to say my phone's been going off, and I've been trying not to look, but I'm like, another ticket, another sponsorship. So tickets and sponsorships are limited as we're closing in on the date next Saturday, November 2nd. It's going to be at the Cape Fear Botanical Garden. The theme is Old Hollywood, so we're there to celebrate 50 years in the community. So get your tickets, dress up, get fancy, and come celebrate with us. Again, the information for that is on our website, but we'd love to have you guys come out and celebrate 50 years of just community goodness together.
That is awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, ladies, thank you so much for your time on the broadcast today. Now, before I officially close out the broadcast, is there any last-minute things that you want to get to our listeners and our viewers?
Thank you in advance.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for 50 great years. We look forward to 50 more. My 2.5 of them. Thank you. And then volunteer with us. Donate your clothes or your groceries. And then we always have a need for hygiene, too. That's a big thing, too. Hygiene is always needed, and we'll take any form of hygiene, preferably the travel size, if you are able to.
The travel size?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we're big on the 3 T's, time, talent, and treasure. So whatever it is that you have to offer, we're there for it.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, from Fayetteville Urban Ministry, please join me in thanking Miss Michaela Borrero. She is the Community Outreach Coordinator, and Miss Haley Green. She is the Emergency Assistance Coordinator for Fayetteville Urban Ministry. And make sure you ladies tell Mr. Wilson I said hello, and
Yes,
I apologize for forgetting his name. But anyway, our next broadcast, make sure you mark the date, will be Tuesday, November 12th, and we'll be talking about open enrollment for Medicare, and we're going to give you some tips on planning for your Thanksgiving dinner, especially if you have people in your family who are diabetic or they may have health issues. Yes, the holidays are upon us. So make sure you have make plans to join us on Tuesday, November 12th, for our next broadcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, for our executive producers, Miss Shaka Jordan and Lindsey Graham, our broadcast producer, Mr. Ray Thomas, and the hard-working team behind the scenes, I'm Omega Jones, continuing the legacy of Darvin Jones. Thanks for listening and watching Cape Fear Valley Health's Making Rounds.